There are 9 games on Wednesday. Let's break them down. Look at streaming, look at schedules, look at who's in, look at who's out. Michael Bolton is always in.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and tonight I'm going to see Kendrick Lamar, but only because I hate Drake because he's from Canada. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free, and we are available on all platforms. So, yeah, we are. We're also the number one sports podcast network. We're part of the number one sports podcast network, so thank you for pushing us towards number one. That is the Locked On Podcast Network, where we've got your team every day covered. And you guys that are here every day watching, I always appreciate you blokes, Sheilas, gals, guys, pals, dudes, whatevers that are here watching. We are doing a daily look ahead for the games on Wednesday. We've got 9 of those games on, so let's dig in and take a bit of a squiz at what's going on in those 9 contests. In terms of timing, first game is 7 p.m. and then we have the last game tipping off at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. So we've got 9 games all mushed in to a 90-minute window of start times. What? All right. Sick. Nuggets, Pacers, Blazers, Cavs, Spurs, Magic, Clippers, and Hawks, Hornets, Knicks, Nets, Bulls, Pistons, Bucks, Kings, Rockets, and Heat, Mavericks is the final game of the day. The highest spread there that I can see is Heat Mavs at 240.5, which is very high. Let's go into the individual games. First one is Nuggets Pacers. We saw the headmaster Jamal Murray hurt his ankle in the Nuggets last game. He left the game, came back and played, but then sat out the final 3 minutes. He's listed questionable. I'll be very surprised if he plays, honestly, but let's watch that. If he is out, Jalen Pickett will get a bump, I'm pretty certain, and then you'll get just more usage spread to the other dudes. Jokic is listed as probable. We expect that to play. And then the dildo, Johnny Furphy, is he back? And what's his role going to be? We saw Gary Bird, Garrison Matthews, played 25 minutes last game. I do think there is a chance that Furphy is going to have some role this season, but he keeps getting hurt, and then there are other guys who have returned. There's still Neesmith out at the moment, but I think Furphy can be better than Shepherd. I think Furphy can be better than Walker. It's a long way away, though. Timothy John McConnell is in as well after he played just 6 minutes in the last game. Blazers and Cavs is the next one for us to look at. There's quite a few injuries. Not the game with the most injuries, though, but quite a few injuries. In this one, Jarrett Allen's out, Drew Holiday's out, Sam Merrill is out. Darius Garland will be back, and this is the second game of a back-to-back for the Blazers, so I don't think Rob Williams will play, and I'm not sure about Shaedon Sharpe. I'll put him questionable, but I do think that he's unlikely to be available. Donovan Clingan is in for Tuesday, but I'll put him questionable here for Wednesday with an illness that caused him to miss the last game. Spurs, Magic, Paolo Banchero still remains out for Orlando, so does Steph Castle, so does Victor Wembanyama for the Spurs. Goga hurt his hip in the last game at the end of the game, but he is fine, available, and ready to go. The next one we go to is the Clippers and the Golden State Warriors. We've got Bogdan Bogdanovic is out. Kristaps Porzingis. Sorry, not the Warriors. The Clippers and the Hawks. Jeez, what am I talking about? Clippers and the Hawks. Bogdanovic is out. What's going on here? Yeah, something was just mucking up on my background there. Sorry, way bad on that. Bogdanovic is out. Kristaps Porzingis remains out. And then Jordan Miller with a hamstring injury is questionable. But obviously the Bogdanovic and the Porzingis ones are the important ones. Trae Young still remains sidelined. Hornets and Knicks. This will be the second of a back-to-back for the Knickerbockers. OG Anunoby is out. Pat Connaughton is out. Trey Mann is out. And then Brandon Miller is out, which is worrying. Brandon Miller thought he was fine to play in the last game and the training staff held him out. Now they're calling it shoulder subluxation again. Did he aggravate the injury when he copped that hard fall the other day? I am a little concerned here. It is positive that LaMelo Ball is listed as probable. They listed it as a wrist thing, not an ankle, so that's all good. The Miller one is a little concerning that he's out again. You're going to see Sion James and Colin Sexton play a little bit more in that particular spot. I don't expect Mitchell Robinson to play because he is playing on Tuesday, but the Miller one is going to be obviously important. This next game, there's just a million guys listed on this injury report, of course. It's the Nets and the Bulls. Noah Essengay is out. Vanderpants is out. Kevin Huerter. And then in the troubling one, Kobe White is out. Now, they are listing it as a left calf strain, not injury management, because it's not the same calf. He was out with a right calf strain to begin the season. Now, the Bulls are a horrendous injury reporting team. I'm not going to rule out that they're just listing it wrong, but I don't know. But if this is his other calf and he has injured it again, this is not a day-to-day scenario. This is multiple weeks, I would guess, for Kobe White here. So be aware of that. Jalen Smith has got a hamstring injury. They're listing him questionable. He's missed 2 games. Why? I don't think he plays. Dalen Terry is questionable. Trey Jones is probable. Patrick Williams is probable. But in better news, Zach Collins is questionable. Now, how does Zach Collins and Jalen Smith both play behind the GOAT, Nikola Vucevic? I don't know. And I guess we're going to find out as to how they preference them, who plays power forward, what do they do. And the other one is Isaac Okoro is dealing with a back problem. He's been out for 2 weeks now. So as you'll note, Kobe White's out, Huerter's out, Okoro's doubtful. That means it is full bore Ayo Dosunmu and Trey Jones, because you've got 3 guys out playing that same position. Huerter, White, and Okoro. So you can use Huerter, no, not Huerter, you can drop Huerter. You can use Dosunmu and Jones in basically any league. And you'll note, nearly all of those injuries, apart from Terrence Mann, who missed the last game for the Nets, are the Bulls. So we'll see. This is also the first of a back-to-back for the Nets, and they're not listing Porter or Yeoman on the injury report for Wednesday, so they should be good. The Pistons and the Milwaukee Bucks. Gary Harris, questionable. Kevin Porter Jr. left the last game with back spasms. I don't think there's any concern about him playing, but he's questionable. Giannis is probable, so again, he should be fine. And then Duncan Robinson. If Duncan Robinson's out, they started Dennis Jenkins in the last game. He was horrendous with his shooting, but the opportunity was there. You could stream Dennis in if Dunk happens to be out. On the next game, it's Kings Rockets. Still, we haven't seen Dorian Finney-Smith play this season. He's going to be out again. Dennis Schroeder has missed the last few. Malik Monk is probable. Steven Adams he rested in the last game. I expect that Adams is back here. Schroeder being out would impact a lot of things like Malik Monk and his overall value, and even minutes and touches for guys like Keegan Murray. The final game of the day is the Heat and the Mavericks. We know that Daniel Gafford is questionable. We know that Palla Larson left with a foot sprain. They said he's okay, but he's listed questionable. I'd be pretty doubtful he plays. And then we got Norman Powell pop up as questionable. PJ Washington also questionable. So if Gafford and PJ are out, Najee Marshall's value goes up, and you're going to get Moussa Cisse getting those minutes behind Anthony Davis. If Larson and Powell are out, then obviously you get more minutes for Jaime Jaquez. You're going to get more minutes from Dru Smith, maybe a little bit more from Davion Mitchell as well in those scenarios if both of those guys are out. So a few things that can alter there depending on injury stati. Let's come back and talk schedule hacking. Today's episode, though, is brought to you by Game Time, the FIFA World Cup. It is back in North America for the first time since 1994. I feel so bad for you guys. 1994, we've never had it here. Never. But anyway, first time back since 1994, and there are 48 teams for the first time ever. It's going to be huge, but you want to make sure you're getting tickets and it's not a pain to get those tickets. That's where Game Time comes in and is clutch, giving fans a real advantage when it comes to snagging seats. With Game Time, you can track price drops in real time, get alerts when the great seats open, and buy tickets the moment that they hit the app. It puts the power back in your hands, and it makes going to the World Cup realistic instead of impossible. You pick a game, you tap a section that you want to sit in as well, and you can have your tickets locked in within minutes. No confusion and no hunting for fine print. And the seat view feature is a game changer. You can literally see what the pitch looks like from that exact seat before you buy. So take the guesswork out of buying World Cup tickets and every match or concert or event with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, download the app, make an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go, Game Time. All right, we're talking about the games and the action here on Wednesday with 9 games on. Let's take a look at the schedule and the ways that we can use it to our advantage Need to get more games in for our fantasy teams. Who's got back-to-backs? It's a good question. There are 3 teams that have the Tuesday to Wednesday back-to-back. The Knicks, the Blazers, and the Spurs. We know Mitchell Robinson's going to be out Wednesday. We're pretty sure Rob Williams is going to be out Wednesday, and maybe Shaedon Sharpe as well. There's only one team that goes Wednesday, Thursday, and that's the Nets. And there's no indication that Michael Porter Jr. or Ayo Dosunmu are sitting on Wednesday, so they should be available Wednesday. Maybe they sit on Thursday. But that's where your back-to-backs are. Pretty low quantity of back-to-backs across this period of the week. Now we get into chunks, though, and that's the next 5 days. And this brings us into one of the more confusing weeks of the season, and that's Week 8, the NBA Cup Knockout Rounds week. And I want to be very clear on this. Last season, Yahoo made a decision to combine weeks around the NBA Cup into one fantasy matchup. Now, they did it completely wrong because I don't know what they were thinking. They combined week 7 and 8 into 1 week, which was not the right week to do it. What they should have done, and what I've done through the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Bowls, is combined week 8 and 9 into one matchup. So Yahoo said, I guess it's too hard. We got it wrong. We're not doing it. It's just too hard. So they are not doing the combined weeks anymore. And I don't believe ESPN is doing combined weeks either. So when we head into week 8, most of the schedule is set now. So when you go to look at the schedule, you will see games played and it is set. The only thing that is not set is the teams that have made the quarterfinal round, the 8 teams that have made it through. The teams that lose on those quarterfinal days, they have one more game that needs to be scheduled. And we don't know whether it will be Sunday of week 8 or Monday of week 9. The teams that win those quarterfinal games, they play on Saturday of week 8. That is guaranteed. They will play on Saturday. You just don't know who they are yet. But every other game has been accounted for. And you're going to see low volume teams. They're going to play one game in week 8. So again, shout out to Yahoo for once again completely screwing up the fantasy basketball experience. Completely. Now, this chunk does not head into next week, but the 5s and 2s does. But I just wanted to clear that part up, and we'll go on about this continually over the next week or so to make sure it's in your head. The only game that doesn't count for fantasy as well is the NBA Cup Final. The semifinals do. The quarterfinals do. Chunks. Over the next 5 days, not including Friday, which is a 12-game day. The Nets play 3 times on the low-volume days. They're the only team. So prioritize having Noah Clowney. Jay Huff, his production is so good that even though he plays only one quality game over the next 5 days, I think you add him. And then these guys, Ryan Kalkbrenner, Peyton Watson, and Ayo Dosunmu have 2 games over the next 5 days. Now, Watson, Dosunmu, and Kalkbrenner are just must-roster guys anyway. Dosunmu because of the injuries in Chicago. But if you're not considering them must-roster, they've got a schedule advantage with 2 quality games over the next 5 days that you can use that does not include Friday. If we go into 5s and 2s, this does take us into the NBA Cup Knockout Week, Week 8. Wednesday through to Tuesday. These 4 teams play twice in the next 7 days. The Grizzlies, the Thunder, the Suns, and the Wizards. This will not change. There are no additional games to be scheduled. The additional games to be scheduled are on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday of Week 9. That is all that needs to be scheduled, and there are only 8 teams that it applies to. And those 8 teams have 1 extra game to be added. That is the only scheduling thing that needs to change. And it will be Saturday of Week 8, Sunday of Week 8, or Monday of Week 9. Those 8 teams will play 1 extra game across any of those 3 days. Yes, and I can't tell you who or when because I don't know until those game results happen on Tuesday and Wednesday. Should we do streams of the day? No, we'll save that. We'll come into streams of the day in a sec because I'm going to tell you right now that today's episode, it is brought to you by Robinhood. What if sports were traded like markets? Well, now you can put your sports IQ to work in real time with Robinhood prediction markets. It's not you against the house. It is you participating in a live market. You can buy or sell your positions live all game long using your sports knowledge in the moments that matter. Robinhood prediction markets changes the game. It's people moving the action, so when momentum shifts, you can move with it. You know the game, but you never had that dynamic way to apply that knowledge, and now you can actually take part live in a market powered by people. You're no longer just a spectator. Play by play, you decide. Trade every play with Robinhood, now available across the US. Download the Robinhood app now to begin. All right, let's get into the streams of the day now for Wednesday with 9 games on. Who can we stream in? Who are the guys that may be floating around on waiver wires that are worth us taking a look at? The stream of the day for a 10-team league, which I use again a 60% roster percentage cutoff using the Basketball Monster advanced numbers. And it's Kris Dunn. His minutes are up. Bogdan Bogdanovic is out. He is playing 30 minutes a night. Do I feel incredibly confident about it? Not really. But he is an option there for us. For 12-team leagues, Ayo Dosunmu, who is playing good minutes. If you want to hold on to Yeoman, do it. I'm not as bullish on him being a long-term hold. I think there are a lot of holes in his overall game, and while I think he will get better and the role is okay, I don't think that he's going to be blowing us away with great value that he needs to be rostered. But for now, yeah, good stream guy. 14-team. Lonzo Ball is back. Is he going to be doing huge amounts? Not really, but we're talking 14-team leagues here. And for 16-team leagues, Kristaps Porzingis is out, so the night watchman, Mouhamed Gueye, is a good 16-team streamer. We've seen his minutes be pretty good the last couple of games, so I like him there. Yahoo points and ESPN points, he's 70% available on both of these platforms. Ayo Dosunmu, just grab him. You know that I'm not a Dosunmu guy in general, but when you're missing 3 guys out of the backcourt, he's going to play 33 to 36 minutes, and he's going to have real opportunity. So for now, Ayo Dosunmu is a must-grab player, but also a really strong stream on Yahoo points and ESPN points for Wednesday. If we dig into the 10-team streams a little bit more, we're going to start with Dunn. We're going to have Yeoman there. We're going to have Lonzo Ball there. Isaiah Jackson's coming off the bench. Yes, J Huff is a must-grab player, but I've talked about how he's already at like 80% rostered on Basketball Monster. So I don't think that you already know that by now, but he doesn't. I got to have a cutoff somewhere. Isaiah Jackson and then Goga Bitadze as stream options. Are they awesome options? Not really, but they're available. Their role is there, and there's the occasion that they can pop off. You saw last game Goga was pretty good, actually, coming off the bench in his limited role. For 12-teamers, I'm using a 40% cutoff roster mark. There is Mouhamed Gueye there. Steve Adams is there. Ryan Nembhard is up to 40% rostered on Basketball Monster. Now, I am incredibly intrigued to see where Nembhard goes in this game. I don't believe he's going to be an 85% shooter, or that necessarily he's going to play 30 minutes a night. But I'm certain he will start, and I really want to see what it looks like. And if you want to add him to see where it goes, go for it. I'm very skeptical on how it sticks, and we've seen 4 starting point guards in Dallas already. But for now, he looks solid. Daron Sharp is there as well, and Patrick Williams. Again, with injuries, is Patrick Williams good? No, he's not good at all. But there are a million guys out, and Williams has an opportunity to squeeze 2 to 3 extra minutes out of it and be somewhat useful there. For deep leagues, I've given you 10 names already, and a lot of those guys are going to be available in your deep leagues too. But now what about the man on the street? JORDANCLARKSON. Jordan Clarkson. Is he good? Also, he seems to be incredibly washed. But there's no Anunoby. There's no Landry Shamet. He's going to play 20 minutes at least. He's going to play more minutes than Tyler Kolek. So Jordan Clarkson's worth looking at. Dean Wade will get his 20 minutes. He'll have his 4 points, 4 rebounds, maybe 1 steal, maybe 1 block. That's a deep league guy, but that's it. Nico Batum, he played 30 minutes in a couple of games recently. He is very similar to Dean Wade in the sort of production he puts up. He's a really useful, real-life on-court player, but the stats aren't really there. This guy has more of a chance to pop off, and that is the national title, Jarris Walker. Hello! I don't know if he's going to start. He goes back and forward in that lineup. He might shoot 20%, he might shoot 30%. He might get lucky and he shoots 37%. Or on the random one game of the year where he shoots 70%. But he does have an ability to get you 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals. But he could also kill you in other areas. And the other one there who's really more of a steal specialist. But if Norman Powell is out, Dru Smith is going to be useful. And he's available like everywhere. I hope he plays. He's in my 30 deep team. But Dru Smith, I hope he gets more minutes because he's in my 30 deep team. But he's a guy that might get to 22 and really push up if Norman Powell is out. So just keep an eye on old mate Dru Smith. For Yahoo points leagues, we're doing at least 70% available, and I'm chucking in one that's at least 90% available. So Dosunmu and Trey Jones in Chicago, very strong ads. Noah Clowney in Brooklyn, Mr. Black in Orlando, and the 90% available guy is Ayo Dosunmu for Brooklyn. If we go to ESPN points, the names are pretty similar. In fact, I think there's only one difference. Ayo Dosunmu, Trey Jones, Noah Clowney, all sitting at the top there. And then there is Juice McBride. who is getting a lot of minutes and is just not rostered on ESPN. So go and grab him. And then there's Mr. Black at the end as well. And that is a nice little quick summary for Wednesday. Stay tuned for other injury updates. I did a short talking about the Zion Williamson injury. We'll discuss it more on the recap show later today, but you know that you're adding Sadiq Bey, Herb Jones and Derek Queen if they were dropped, and then deeper leagues, you're looking at Bryce McGowan's and Micah Peavy. Thumb up the video, subscribe, leave your comments down below. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. Sleeper Socks. See ya.